This is what Tuesday night looks like for me most of the time. I've already put my little Snuggie wearable blanket thing on. It's a big fluff ball. It's fluffy on the inside, goes to my ankles. This has been my uniform in the evenings the past several weeks, basically since Christmas, because that's when I got it. I have no regrets. It's fantastic. Highly recommend. So welcome back to my little corner of YouTube where I'm doing this nice little author vlog thing where I talk about the things that I'm writing, books that I'm reading, and just my thoughts that are book related. And I have some, but I also have a sticky note with my topics that I wanted to hit so I didn't get distracted. First off, I am BB Morgan, Beatrice B. Morgan. I write fantasy, romantic fantasy mostly. I've dabbled a little bit in horror lately, but it really ends up being a little bit more dark fantasy. My brain just hit a wall. Like mid-sentence hit a wall. That's what Tuesdays do to me. It's very busy at the office on Tuesdays, which, I mean, of all the days of the week to be so busy, I mean, Tuesdays really, it's not a bad choice. Anyway, writing updates. I have been working on this contemporary romantic horror thing that I've really been struggling with for the past several years to just get it done, get it to a point where I feel comfortable with it. And last weekend, with the last update that I did, I felt very confident about the draft that I was making. I felt very good about the work that I was putting in. Well, I predicted that, well, it's all downhill from here. Well, I was correct. It was all downhill from there. Because I ran out of steam somewhere in Act 3, and Act 3, it's done. The book itself, the draft is complete. It's just very unpolished, and the last several chapters are basically in outline form. They're not written, but I kind of know what happens. And again, I just have this feeling like it's missing something, and I just don't have that vigor that I need in order to like really churn those chapters out into something that I am comfortable with and confident in, and something that I feel good about like sharing with other people or like showing to an editor. So that one has been pushed back onto like the back burner where all of my other works in progress are sleeping right now. And I haven't really started anything else because I needed to take that break. You know, after you hit the end of a draft that you're not really comfortable with, you kind of don't have that like, yeah, this is good, this is gonna be great. I didn't have that this past weekend because I was so tired. I don't know if I was coming down with like a little something or if I had like a touch of like a cold, but I got very little done. It took me all weekend to get to the end of that draft to like finish the just what I did, and it wasn't as much as I did the weekend before, so I feel a little failure-y in that regards. But that draft is finished. I have set it aside. I'm not going to think about it for a little bit, let my brain refresh, come back to it later. And last night, I actually did go back into the high fantasy that I had been working on before my brain decided that it wanted to work on this contemporary romantic fantasy, which is the words are hard tonight, that quartet that I had been working on, that high fantasy quartet, romantic fantasy. Book one's done, book two's basically done. It could use maybe another pass. Book three is the one I'm working on, trying to do several. I have done like 2.5 edits last year in the fall, and I finished the rough draft of book 4. So I'm back on book 3 to kind of tie it together, make it a little neater. But I haven't done much. I mean, it's Tuesday, and I haven't really had time or brain power to do any real writing because I only do my writing on the weekends. Throughout the week, I try to read more. Which that's a great segue into the next segment, which is reading updates. Because I have one. I finally finished. After I don't even know how many months it's been. I finally finished Onyx Storm. I finally finished it. I don't know why it took me so long to read this book. I started reading it when it came out in like February or March of last year. And I think I was just pacing myself because when Iron Flame came out, book 2 of the Fourth Wing series, I powered through it. I rushed through it, and there's just so much about Iron Flame that like my writer brain was just ugh, ugh. Just so many things that I'm like, what editor let that slip through? Just not inconsistencies. What's the word I want? Repetitive narration. The story pacing was a little off. So by the time I got to the end of Iron Flame, I was ready for the story to be over, and I kind of skimmed the end, which I probably shouldn't have because the ending was very just like bang, bang, bang. So I didn't want to do that with Onyx Storm because by the time I got to the end of Iron Flame, I was almost done with the series because I'm like, if the next book is written this poorly, I don't think I can sit through it. But I can confirm that Onyx Storm is not as bad as Iron Flame. It is much better written. I feel like they took a little bit more time with it. The pacing is better. The story drags a little bit in the middle on me personally. I think it drags in the middle. The story is a little bit more put together. It's still a little bit more convoluted than I personally would like, but it's still enjoyable. I'm still enjoying this series. I will read book 4 whenever it comes out. I'm at kind of this weird junction where like I finished that book, so I'm like I was looking for another one, so I stood at my shelf last night going, what book do I want to read next? Because I like to have several books that I'm reading. I can read several books at like once, but I try not to be reading so many that I get confused. And I'm currently listening to Emily Henry. What is no, that's not. I said Funny People. That's not Funny Story. That's the thing. I'm listening to it on audiobook, and it's really enjoyable. It's really fun. Like I've actually laughed out loud on my way to work. It's really weird because it's been a while since a book has actually genuinely made me laugh. But I'm reading, oh goodness, Quicksilver. I started reading Quicksilver. I'm only like 25% in. It's very readable so far. Like it's very surprising just how readable this book is. And especially after the last 2 books that I've tried to read that I have DNF'd. One was a horror book, and one was a very popular fantasy book, like a very popular romantasy that I could not stand. I think I made it 30% in, and I was like, I can't do this. The main character is absolutely insufferable. I cannot stand her. She's obnoxious. She's not fun to read. So I'm like, I'm just going to put this back. And so I'm like, I need a book that I know I'm going to enjoy. So I was looking at my shelf. I'm like, okay, I said shelve, didn't I? My shelf. No, my shelf. So I was like, what book do I know that I'm most likely going to enjoy? So I chose The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. Now I've heard this book is good. I mean, it's good. It's Leigh Bardugo, but it's more like historical fiction. So it's not like the high fantasy that Quicksilver is or the contemporary romance that Emily Henry's book is. So I'm like, it's nice rounded, hit all the things. I read the first paragraph last night and it was really good. So they got bread. Like if the bread hadn't burned, this wouldn't have happened. I'm like, well, now I'm invested. So that's my writing update, my reading update. I have one more little tidbit to add on to this, and that is I have seen a large amount of people complaining about the Goodreads Choice Awards, how it's unfair and how it's stupid and how, Goodreads, oh, this is all that's wrong with publishing. And let me tell you something. The Goodreads Choice Awards, they're not a literary award, okay? They're not saying these books are great works of American art and should be put in museums. No, that's not what they're saying. These are popular books. It's a popularity contest. The books that win are always just the most popular books. They're the mega bestsellers like Fourth Wing. Sarah J. Maas always wins because those are the books that people who don't read. You know what I mean? The books like Harry Potter, The Hunger Games, Twilight, 50 Shades of Grey. These are the books that get so popular that they break out of the book community. And the people who aren't readers, like they don't read a lot, these are the books that they pick up. And they might be on Goodreads. These are the people who read, 1 to 5 books a year. They are also voting, and they're going to vote for the one book that they read in that category. And it irritates me whenever I see people complaining about the Goodreads Choice Awards because it's just a popularity contest. It doesn't mean anything. It especially irritates me when it's an author complaining that their book wasn't chosen. Because that to me is just, it's whining. And it's just like, want to get me to not read your book? Complain that it didn't win an award. Because it's been a year or two ago, maybe, where there was an author on a social media platform, and this author was expressing, well, she was upset, okay? They were upset that their book didn't win in the category, or it was either in the category or didn't make it into the category, one of those, and she was upset that it didn't win, and she was blaming this not on the book, but on the color of her skin. And I'm not saying that, like, there's not any of that going on in publishing, but it's just that that was the reason that she chose to blame that her book didn't get into the Goodreads Awards. That was the reason that she chose. And as someone who read the book in question, it was nothing to do with the color of her skin. I want to tell you right now. The book had, like, it was not in my top 10 reads of that year. It was not close. And it's just looking for every excuse to not blame the book, aren't we? And I've just seen a lot of them lately. Authors complaining that their books didn't get in. Like, yeah, because you're not Sarah J. Maas. You're not a mega bestseller. Like, we all can't be top of the pile. Someone's got to be at the top of the pyramid. Like, that's just how publishing works. That's how books work. And I usually just scroll on. Just scroll on and ignore it. Let them be dramatic and just let the drama go. But and I feel like I've just seen more of it this year than I did like in the years past because people are just so butthurt that they didn't win this national popularity contest with their midlist book. I'm like, no, of course you didn't. It's not saying that your book isn't good or that you're not a good writer or that you don't deserve it. Everybody deserves it, okay? You finished a book. Good job. And a part of it also feels really like pity marketing. Like, oh, look at me. I didn't win this award. Meh. Like trying to get people to go read your book out of pity. That does not work on me. If I see what looks like or feels like pity marketing, I scroll on. I do try to, note the author, note the book. Don't read that in the future because I don't like that marketing. If you write a good book, like I am a firm believer that if your book is good, the cover is pretty and genre and audience appropriate, it will find its audience. Yeah, you might have to do some marketing to get it out there, but if it's a good book and it's a genuinely good book, they'll look at it and be like, yes, that looks like a book that I want to read. Like, it will find its audience eventually. You might have to push it in the direction of the audience, but it will find the audience eventually. So that was my rant for this lovely Tuesday evening. I did not mean to rant. It was just my sticky note that I have here was reading update, writing update, Goodreads. That was all I had. That's what I wanted to talk about. That was what I wanted to hit because that's what I've been thinking about this past week, like since I did my last author vlog thing. Now I have to go figure out what I'm gonna eat for dinner. Ugh. What are you having for dinner? Send me some. I need some ideas. Anyway, that's I'm getting off track. See, I've left my sticky note. I've gone off sticky note. Off note. So that was my update for this week. Will I have inspiration to write this weekend? I hope so. What will I be writing this weekend? I don't know. My plan is, as of right now, to get back in this quartet to work on, book 3. But that was also my plan 2 weekends ago when my brain was like, hey, remember that contemporary horror story you were writing? What about that one? Want to go look at that one? It sounds pretty cool. So I hopefully don't do that and stick on track to work on this quartet that I wanted to get done before the end of the year so that I could start a whole new project that I could use to like follow on this vlog so you can see the whole process of how book writing works. And yeah, that didn't happen. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for staying with me this long if you made it this far. Stay tuned for more of these fun little updates, writer rants, book talks, author updates, all those fun things.
Oh, yeah, I look real professional.